Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back and Forth. I'm your host, Gecko Man, and sitting beside me is our co-host, RogueGambit, the man that if he gets hurt, he hurts him back. And if he gets killed, well, he just walks it off.
I've died before. It was boring.
All right, so moving on from that, if all of you are wondering, today we are going to be talking about Moon Knight. We're just going to be talking our expectations, hopes, dreams, all that stuff. I have no dreams.
That's what we talk about, the Cowled Avenger.
Oh, yeah. First off, I just want to point out that I am very excited to see Moon Knight on screen. Like, I've seen him in a couple times in the comics. And it'd just be nice to have a live action Moon Knight. Like, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for it. Yeah, based on what I've seen and what I've read about what people have said about it, I'm very, very excited. As you can tell, this is my excited voice.
Clearly. So what is there anything you can say to me that like won't reveal much by like, are we going to see any like Avengers? Are we going to see any heroes that we've already seen? Any villains that we've already seen?
I can guarantee you that there will not be any ties to the MCU overtly in it.
Oh, but it is MCU.
Yes, it is in the MCU, but I doubt they'll reference anything in the MCU. If they do, it will be pretty offhand, and I don't think you'll see any heroes already established in the MCU or villains already established in the MCU that appear.
Okay. So,
which was some of the reasons I'm so excited, because it's going to be like so separate. We're not going to be like, like a lot of things that are coming out and have already come out seem to be banking on what they've already done.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see something completely new and how well they do it.
Now, we are going to be getting completely new stuff. We're going to be seeing some Moon Knight villains on screen, which I'm actually very excited for. I don't know much about his villains, but I would love to see.
Yeah, so it looks like we'll have one villain for sure, one big villain, I should say. I'm sure a couple of his other villains will show up. Some of either the smaller ones or ones that are just like prolonged villains, but never like, a main villain that he has to take out, like Bushman or something.
Bushman?
Bushman.
He hides in a bush.
Am I a man or am I a bush? I'm a Bushman. But nobody knows what that's from.
I don't know either.
Hunt for the Wilder People.
What?
Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh.
Taika Waititi's one of his first movies.
Yeah,
anyways.
I've heard of it, never seen it.
It's funny. Yeah, so like somebody like that who's like is kind of like his arch nemesis, but not really a villain of his, might show up. And then of course Khonshu isn't necessarily a villain, and he imbues Moon Knight with his power.
Whoa.
But he's also kind of a villainous character at times, so I'm sure he'll be in it, and I'm guessing that's, the god that you see. You have not seen, but others have seen in the trailer.
Who have I seen?
That infamous elevator scene that I'm so excited to see in real. The
not
whole
the
thing.
Captain America elevator scene?
No, he's getting his own elevator scene that I'm guessing will not be nearly as full of battle.
Oh, man. Let's take a step off of Moon Knight real fast. I just want to say, so for the elevator, you're saying the elevator scene in Moon Knight is not going to be as good as
I'm just saying that there's not going to be any fighting in it. Like, it's not going to be anything
it's just like do.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what it's going to be.
Interesting.
It's going to be more horror anticipation rather than an actual fight.
Okay. Well, so
the suspense building up to the fight in Captain America?
Yeah.
Imagine that without the fight. That's what I think it's going to be.
That's kind of interesting to think about. More suspense than fighting.
Well, yeah, based on what I think, and have heard about this show, I think it's going to be a lot very in the horror suspense-esque genre. Sorry, couldn't think of that word for a second. Genre, and a lot less actiony, which is also another thing I'm excited for, to see their story building aspect of the horror.
Would this be their first step into MCU horror?
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, they haven't done anything yet. I think it
Yeah.
will be their first. That leads into something I wanted to bring up. I was going to bring this up later, but we've already kind of just jumped into
Yeah,
everything
it's
here.
been all over the place right now, son.
So I guess I'll bring this up now. Is I do think I'd stop bumping things. Sorry. I do think. Sorry, guys. I talk with my hands a lot. You can't see that, but I talk with my hands a lot. Sometimes I hit my mic and stuff. Sorry.
Surprisingly, he hasn't hit me yet.
Anyways, I do think that this is leading to a Midnight Suns.
Moon Knight Suns, like
Midnight Suns.
oh, Midnight Sun. I thought you said Moon Knight Suns. So is this?
I mean, it could basically be called Moon Knight Suns. It is a group. Sorry, another thing I have to say is I forgot my notes today, so I'm happy to kind of look things up on the spot.
Oh my goodness! Never forget the notes.
I'm sorry, I was sick this week, and that's my excuse. Okay, kind of out of it. Anyways, so Midnight Suns is a team of Marvel heroes that fight against like supernatural forces.
So like Blade and
So yeah, the people that have been in it have been Moon Knight's like a pretty mainstay in it. Ghost Rider, Doctor Strange been in it at times. Damian Hellstorm, of course. Morbius has been in it. Werewolf by Night. Black Knight.
he is in the MCU now.
Daredevil.
Oh,
Blade. I think I already said Blade.
so wait, there's two Blades.
I mean, technically there is, but we won't get into that. I'm pretty sure. Let's see, like Scarlet Spider's been in it. Not that I think they'd bring him into this, but I feel like there's somebody really big that I'm forgetting. But Iron Fist, I guess we could bring up since he's now in the MCU.
What's his name?
Punisher.
Werewolf by Night, I think.
Yeah, I said that too.
Oh, you did.
Werewolf by Night. So since Werewolf by Night movie and it's coming out probably, or TV show, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's TV show. TV show's coming out in October. I could definitely see him being like the next member. I wouldn't be surprised if he was even introduced in the Moon Knight series. But since it's so separate from the MCU, it sounds like, I definitely think that's what they're leading into. And I completely forgot why I went off on that tangent, but I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited to see another side of the MCU.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be interesting. I would think it'd be very interesting to see, like, you know, because I am excited to see Werewolf by Night. Like, it's going to be interesting to see a lot of the supernatural stuff in the MCU.
Yep.
Like, I would love to see, you know, the vampires,
Yes.
werewolf, anything else that really is related to supernatural stuff. Blade. I would love to see Blade show up in MCU style.
I mean, he will be coming eventually. Herschel.
Now the question. Now this begs the question of, like, do we think we'll have some site or something that will show us like Doctor Strange or something related to Doctor Strange?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they had at the end something pointing to Doctor Strange, especially since like Multiverse of Madness is the next thing coming out. Doctor Strange is a little bit is part of Midnight Suns. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's something. I mean, I'm sure there'll be an end credit scene that has him in it.
Yeah.
But I really don't think there will be much tying this to MCU, as I've said.
Okay. Who's the founder of the Midnight Suns? Or like, who's the one who really started?
Oh, man. I don't know who started it. I would lean towards Doctor Strange just because Doctor Strange, you know, likes to put teams together. He's always been
of course,
an influencing factor in many teams. But yeah, I actually don't know much about the Midnight Suns. I've read some comics that they're mentioned in, but I've never read like a full Midnight Suns comic or anything. So yeah, I don't know too much about them, but
okay. Now I'm gonna kind of not backtrack, but kind of go off in a different direction here.
All right. Well,
So-
before you do that,
Okay. Just cut me off, why don't you?
well, I do think like for those, especially for those who know nothing about Moon Knight, I was going to give a little backstory of who Moon Knight is.
Yes.
Going
please.
into this, because I don't know how much other backstory they're going to say in the show too. So for people that are, on the edge, fence, not the edge, they're not about to jump. They're just sitting on a fence trying to decide if they should watch Moon Knight or not. Maybe they're a Marvel fan, but they're like, I don't know anything about this character. Why would I watch this? He just looks like Batman, except in the Marvel. First of all, he's
true.
definitely not Batman. He's very, very different.
Yeah, for someone who doesn't know about Moon Knight, he definitely seems like a Batman style character.
Exactly. He does
when
seem
you
like
first look at him, but then once you kind of like,
and he is similar in his personality a little bit, but that's, in my opinion, that's about it. You can definitely find similarities here and there. They both have capes. They both, we can go on and on.
they're both
but,
the dark.
except is he? See, that's the thing.
Oh.
Now, so start off. We'll go, I guess. So he has multiple alter egos. I don't know if you know this, but
I do know
so he has
this.
Mark Spector, who's his main alter ego, who is the alter ego of Moon Knight. And then Mark Spector has different personalities. His other personalities are Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley. We'll get into those later, but we'll start with his main personality, Mark Spector. So Mark Spector was born in Chicago, I think. I don't know, somewhere in Illinois. And he grew up there. He was pretty poor. He ended up becoming a mercenary for hire.
Whoa.
After being in the Marines and stuff. I think he even worked for the CIA for a while. But anyways, he becomes a mercenary, and he's on this expedition with Raoul Bushman into Egypt. And while they're there, I don't remember exactly how it works. I've read bits and pieces of the comic, but there is this girl there named Marlene who's like the daughter of some wealthy guy, and Bushman is, I think, hired by her anyways, and so that they're trying to find this treasure, and basically Bushman turns on them, and to save Marlene, Mark Spector sacrifices himself, basically gets killed by Bushman, or mortally wounded, I should say. He's not dead yet. And he's left for dead out in the desert. And so he's lying there dying, and some locals, random desert people, find him and drag him into this cave.
Those random desert people.
Yeah. We learned all about those in that show we just watched.
What? What's the in Boba Fett?
Boba Fett show, yes.
Tuscans, eh?
Yes. So some Tuscans drag him into this cave where there's an idol of the moon god Khonshu. He dies, and his spirit meets with Khonshu, and he makes this deal where Khonshu will bring him back to life if he is his what is it called?
Not heir, but something close, something like that.
Like his entity on Earth, kind of like
his
kind of like a Ghost Rider is like
the
the spirit of vengeance on Earth. He's like the moon god's spirit on Earth. So he comes back as Moon Knight, or with the powers of Moon Knight, and he uses his fortune that he's made through mercenary work to become an extremely wealthy businessman, and to use that to fight crime. And he ends up hunting down Bushmen stuff, and then that's when he creates his other identities. So he creates Jake Lockley is the one I know the most about. He creates him as like a taxi driver guy to kind of like get the the word on the street type of thing.
Oh,
So he creates him very similar, in my opinion. Okay, this could make it sound even more like Batman, but very similar because like Batman does very similar things.
yeah.
But it's very similar to like Sherlock Holmes. Like he has all his like alter egos that he takes out. Read any of the classic Sherlock Holmes stories? Like he has his alter egos that he goes out with to like meet with, street goers and figure out what the word on the street is and figure out where crime is, figure out what's going on where. So that's why he creates Jake Lockley, and then he creates Stephen Grant, is like his wealthy alter ego.
So
it's
these
like a financier, and he tries to like see what's going up, not on the street, but what's going down in the financial district and stuff.
Okay. So really fast. So this moon god or whatever, Khonshu, gave him the Moon Knight powers, and due to this, he is able to create alter egos. If I'm understanding.
No, so So Mark Spector creates these alter egos for himself.
Okay.
But because of the fact that he's struggling with all these different alter egos and his own mental problems, and the fact that he's also Moon Knight and like literally beating people to death, is what starts separating these personalities into completely separate identities.
Okay.
And that's when he starts developing his identity disorders, and then he like completely separates them, and he'll go in and out of being them, and that's why he'll have one not remembering what the other one's doing and whatnot.
Okay. Wow, that's
so yes, it's very deep, a little hard to understand.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting aspect to like superhero style with a sort of a problem with them. Like we have Spider-Man with being Peter Parker, his life kind of inflicting and all that. We have Iron Man, having his heart and all that. Captain America out of time. But then with someone with like a disorder like this, it's a very interesting aspect to like explore and like see and what this guy does to. I'm trying to remember like what this guy does to deal with that. There we go.
Right.
So
for sure,
definitely an interesting thing to look at.
So we'll go a little bit into his powers and abilities. So for his powers, he has what they call in Marvel Comics an enhanced brain function. So Khonshu basically restructured his brain a little bit, and so he can contact Khonshu through his thoughts processes, and this helps him actually like stave off psychic attacks.
Oh,
so his like telepaths have very hard time reading his mind or trying to control him, and that's actually why a lot of his villains, and I think the villains that he's going to be facing, I think the main villain in the comic will be this way, almost like a controlling villain who like controls a lot of minions and stuff. Sort of, but I think he's going to be like, I can't remember the name of the villain in the comics, but that I think he's based off of, but he's going to be like a cult leader that like manipulates people. And I think he might have some sort of psychic powers, or at least connection to the some dark dimension or whatever that helps him. And I think like that's going to be one of the main parts of Moon Knight, because in the comics he has a ton of villains that are like control based, manipulation that he has to fight. He has immortality pact or whatever with Khonshu, where he basically he's immortal as long as he is Khonshu's conduit on Earth.
And I'm assuming once he's done being Khonshu.
Well, since he's already dead, I don't know them. Like if like
he would,
I don't know exactly how the pact works. Where like if Khonshu can just like take his power out of him and dies. I'm not 100% sure.
Or maybe Khonshu would be kind enough to be like, all right, you can live your life.
It could also be where that could hurt Khonshu too. If he like did that, that's why he never does it. I'm not sure all there. So he he has a lot of different powers that he's had over the years. Like he's even like absorbed Iron Fist power at one point, or like the mystical elements of Iron Fist power. He's also like absorbed some of the Sorcerer Supreme's power and Ghost Rider's power and all this weird stuff. Phoenix Force, like he has a very like, yeah,
A very weird type of power.
so like at different points he's been very very powerful. I mean, there's the comic where he kills the entire Avengers or whatever. So like
Whoa.
he's definitely been very powerful at different points.
Probably the most powerful, or
I mean,
debatable.
That's hard to say. And then, but yeah, like ones that he for sure has had has consistently is he does very interestingly have like this necromancy power almost, where he's able to control armies of the dead. Like I'm pretty sure they were other conduits of Khonshu's from the past that he's able to like bring back and like control.
Wonder if they'll bring that to the show.
I doubt they would in the first season, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was something later on that
Or if
happens.
it was some power that he was to bring up in the last fight or something.
Yes.
So, okay.
So he's able to also control objects that are made from like moon-esque materials or like from the stars and stuff. So he's able to like control Mjolnir at one point because it's made from the heart of a dying star. And just things like that. Like I think at one point he was able to actually like move the moon, but like anything that like has to do with like the moon and stars, he has some control over, even if it's just minuscule. He has a lot of
And everybody
stuff.
thought you had to be worthy to hold Mjolnir.
We'll go into his abilities, I guess, now. So we talked about him being a mercenary, being in the Marines and stuff. So he is a expert pilot. He's also an expert detective. He was a private investigator. He has worked with the police. I forgot to even mention his other alter ego, Mr. Knight.
Oh.
And it's basically Moon Knight's private eye alter ego that works with the police very closely. He wears like a white suit. I don't know if you've seen pictures of him, but he wears like the white suit with the mask with like the seam down the middle of it. It's a really cool suit, and I'm hoping I've seen it in the one of the trailers. This little suit. I hope they bring him in as one of his main alter egos because he's super cool in the comics. But he's really fun. So, anyways, he's an expert detective. He's also an expert at interrogation and being interrogated. He's good at not giving up.
Things. Okay. I'm a little confused there.
He's an expert at being interrogated. He's just so good at it.
I give you everything.
He's a master marksman. He's a weapons master.
And this is Mr. Knight.
I'm talking about Moon Knight.
Oh, just Moon Knight. Okay.
Or Mark Spector at this point. He's a master martial artist. He was a heavyweight boxing champ, as I mentioned before. He was, because of his mercenary skills that he had to learn, he's an expert in judo, Krav Maga, savate, which I've never heard of, eskrima, of course, karate, and Muay Thai. Also has studied Kung Fu and has knowledge of an extensive other fighting styles. He's also multilingual. He has a very high pain tolerance. He's basically numb to pain, as we talked about a few episodes ago. He has his resistance to telepathy. He has extremely physical strength. I'd say it's probably on the level of like, I wouldn't say it's superhuman. It's a little bit less than like Spider-Man and Captain America, but it's like more than your average. Your average. Let's say like in the MCU, you got like Falcon, who's like probably like the top right now of like humans, but not superhuman, and then like the bottom of like the superhuman, but not Thor-esque would be like I guess Bucky probably right now. Yeah, and he's like in the between them.
That's not confusing at all.
Well, so I've read things that say that he can lift 450 pounds, which is not crazy, all the way up to 2 tons, 4,000 pounds, which is like superhuman. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly where it is.
A lot of feathers.
So yeah, And of course, he also has his mental illnesses, which aren't necessarily powers, but they are a part of it.
I'm pretty sure they can definitely help.
And they can also hurt.
That probably is why he's a good at being interrogated.
Yeah, he's very good at being interrogated because he just switches between his, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even Mark Spector. I'm Jake Lockley. All right. Anyways.
Well, that's kind of funny that you would actually start with his origin, and because what I have to say, I do want to talk about like origin and stuff. I had watched something recently that said how Thanos' snap, sending everybody away, and then the whole snap again, bringing people back, could create heroes. So I was just wondering, like, maybe Moon Knight could be created that way, like possibly. I don't know.
So I've seen this theory before. I don't dislike the theory. In fact, I think it's very intriguing. But
it could definitely mess up on some points.
Well, I just haven't seen anything point from what I've watched. I've watched every trailer that's come out. I haven't seen anything pointing at that's the case.
Okay, well, I'm just saying in general by the fact that with if people are saying that, and if they do that, like you said, that you don't think they will, but you don't know. So like it could like help explain a lot of like heroes maybe, or like help with a lot of hero origins, because we're moving off of a lot of Avengers now,
right?
So in new heroes, which
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that takes away a little bit from like the actual like writing of like origin stories and stuff. Just be like, oh the snap created this person.
Totally understandable. Like,
so I don't necessarily love that. I want to I think it's definitely interesting to do with one or two heroes and like explore like how that can so drastically change your life. And I still would love to see like a movie about like the snap time and stuff. And
like Ronin.
Yeah. Ronin would be crazy cool to see. Which I don't think we're going to get since we already got Hawkeye.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But, and we explored it a little bit of how it affected the world with Spider-Man Far From Home, and kind of did in Falcon and Winter Soldier, just not well.
Yeah.
So I would love to see like that more.
How about a hero who was how about someone who became a hero right after the first snap? Basically he saw like his best friend disappear or something, and like then something happened to him like right after that, and then he is a hero throughout the time of the snap.
That would be cool too, for sure.
All right. Well, we're definitely getting off track here.
So let's move back by going over Moon Knight's weapons and stuff.
Oh yes,
his suit and everything.
This is actually what I'm excited for.
So of course he has his suit, which is in the comics is like a Kevlar.
I knew you were going to say that.
Adamantium mixture. I don't know exactly what it's going to be in
maybe vibranium,
because in the trailer, like the way he doesn't put it on, it like just is there, and like it's almost like a mystical thing that just covers him.
So like a what?
So like I don't know how to explain this since you haven't seen it, but
like, are you saying
I'm saying like it's not that like he doesn't put anything on. It's just like when he becomes Moon Knight,
it just appears.
It just like appears around him.
So are we expecting to be like kind of like a Black Panther?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was something along those lines, or if they just like went with it fully being like a mystical thing. But yeah, getting we'll get into exactly what we expect in the show later. But
yeah.
So anyways, he has that. He has his cloak, which he can't fly, but he can follow style. He can glide, kind of like a random DC character can do.
Superman, we're saying.
Yeah, Superman. Just like Superman, he can only leap tall buildings in a single bound. He cannot fly.
Right.
Of course, he's got, the grapple guns and the different things. He actually has a jetpack at one point. That's kind of cool. He
jetpack?
also uses the Eye of Agamotto at one point. I do wonder, he has a lot of ties to Doctor Strange in the comics, and I do wonder if he could eventually be like going for a relic that Doctor Strange has, because like the Moon God wants to use it for something, and that could end up bringing them into a little bit of a tussle.
Would be interesting to see Doctor
He
Strange.
has his crescent darts, of course.
Ooh.
That looks super cool, by the way.
You've seen him in the live action?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
There's in the newest trailer, there's this scene where his emblem on his chest,
Yeah.
is the crescent dart. And he like pulls his darts out, and he just like keeps pulling. It's like it seems like it's going to be like an endless supply, and I really hope that's true, because that's just so Moon Knight and so cool. Anything you want to say to that?
No. Well, I do want to say something, but I'm going to save it for when we have what our expectations will be for this. Continue on his weapons.
So then in the comics, he has this like, I don't remember what he calls it, but it's like a pistol that like launches his crescent darts very far. It's kind of cheesy,
like a dart gun almost.
Kind of, but it's more of like, if I remember how it looks in the comics, looks more like a crossbow that just kind of like launches his darts. It's kind of cheesy, and I doubt it'll be in. But
I mean, probably a good. It kind of makes sense, because if you have these like crescent darts and you're throwing them, get more range with like a crossbow.
He also got given a lot of gadgets by different people. Things like web shooters at one point he has an energy shield similar to like Captain America's shield at one point, but we don't have to get into any of those. He's also I'd say the other weapon he's very known for is his like quarterstaff.
Oh yeah, I would love to see that.
Or bow staff, I guess is what it would be called. That's like collapsible, very similar to like something you'd see like Daredevil use or whatnot. Except Daredevil use screaming sticks. We don't need to get into that. But yeah, I'm really excited to see because unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think we've seen that in the show yet, and I'm pretty excited to see like how they reveal that, because like they have to reveal it at some point. So yeah, that's his weapons and suits. So now we can kind of get into, now that we have our backstory and who Moon Knight is, we'll get into our expectations of what we actually think will be in the show, like his bow staff.
Yeah.
And what we expect from the show, where the show's going to go.
Yeah. Dagnabbit, I kind of forgot what I was going to say about that, but let's talk a little bit about his weapons a little bit. So you said you saw his crescent darts.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So his crescent darts, you said coming out. Did you see any signs of like any other type of weapons on him? Whether it be like a small shot or of him, but you saw it like hanging from a belt or something.
No, I don't think you ever see another weapon.
I would love to see his quarterstaff. Like I would love to have that. For him to have that, because that to me, I've only seen Moon Knight in like one Spider-Man show that I watched.
Ultimate Spider-Man, I think.
No, not Ultimate Spider-Man.
Unlimited Spider-Man?
No, sorry. Probably Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I forget which one. It's
Ultimate Spider-Man, where he comes and Spider-Man's taking care of Doctor Strange's place, and then Moon Knight comes. And he thinks Moon Knight's like the villain for the most part.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I do know.
He's in, so he's in, that's the only thing that I know he's in. He's in.
I think it's another Spider-Man show. I might be wrong, but it could.
Okay.
So I do know that he has the quarterstaff in that show. And it was really cool to see him fight with that quarterstaff. It was really cool to watch him.
It's a bow staff. Sorry, I said quarterstaff first, but it's a bow staff. There's a difference.
Okay. So a bow staff would definitely be, and it would also kind of breach out on a lot of like MC Marvel heroes like equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because we see a lot of stuff. Like, we've seen Captain America's shield, we see Iron Man's suit, we see Hawkeye's bow, and we haven't really had anybody who would fight in the way like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So it would definitely be kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah, and we've seen a little bit of I'd say like the closest would be Black Widow and Hawkeye, of course, and they're similar, but yes, it's very very different in the fact that like he, especially like Moon Knight himself, the way he fights, like I've said before, like he's willing to take a hit if he can hit you harder, and I think that's just like very cool thing to see in like a live action form, where it's this guy like doesn't really care that somebody's getting hits in on him type of a thing.
He rather takes the hits than
right.
Okay. So I'm assuming, I really want to say that we're gonna get a small moment with him and that crossbow.
I don't think that's gonna be right.
I really want to say that if he has his crescent darts, and I feel like there's going to be some moment where he at least tries it and then maybe says something about it. It's like, I hate this.
I think like if this was a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie, that might happen. But because it seems like they're taking a very serious, like, and like almost like horror aspect to it, I don't think they would do something like that. I could see maybe in a Midnight Suns movie or something later on when like he has a team and like maybe somebody's like building weaponry for the team. I could see them building something
and
like
you get
that
a crossbow.
And he's like, no, I don't need this or whatever.
Yeah,
I could see that later on, but I think in this show, I doubt it'll show up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then moving on to.
He also, I forgot to say this in equipment. He also has a motorcycle. It's like his Moon Knight's main mode of transportation. I doubt that'll show up, but that could be something that he could get later on. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, I mean, he may just drive a normal bike,
Yeah, maybe.
Just spray paint it white.
So let's move into kind of like how do you see this show starting? Do you think we're gonna get a full origin story of his?
I really don't know, because I haven't seen anything. I don't know much about Moon Knight. Here's what I'll say. So I think I have a small suspicion that we will get this moment of like talking about the snap again. I have this sneaky suspicion because we have had so many things talk about the snap and they don't seem to be letting up on it. Maybe they don't. I have a sneaky suspicion again, but maybe they won't. Maybe they'll do. Maybe it will be mentioned at some point during the start. But
I just feel like based on, because I've read many reviews of people that have watched the first 4 episodes that were released to certain people early, and none of them mentioned. Everybody mentioned how disconnected it is from the MCU. None of them mentioned that it mentioned anything about this. I just personally don't think they will. I do agree with you, like the way that they've mentioned that in everything since the snap. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if in his normal life, not in like his heroing life, but in his normal life, maybe even before, that something like that gets mentioned. But I'm 100% sure it's not going to be tied into his origin story at all. When we get into whether his origin story will be there, I do think just because he's not as well known of a hero as some others, I feel like they'll want to give him an origin story.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man, they didn't give an origin story to because we've literally seen his origin story hundreds of times, right? And then, but, other characters like Iron Man, when he was first introduced, they had to give him an origin story. Why? Because nobody really knew his origin story.
Yeah.
So I think that I wouldn't be surprised. I think we'll get one. I wouldn't be surprised either way, though.
Yeah.
Based on what I've seen in the trailers, there hasn't been like clear cut, like, oh, this is when his origin story is happening. There was one scene when it seems like he maybe is about to die, that I wouldn't be surprised if that was like that happened to him. So he's about to die. That's when he gets taken into the cave, and that's when the origin story happens, right? That's when we see him go meet the moon god Khonshu. Also, like what is leading up to that does seem to like it's in another country. It could very easily be said to be Egypt or somewhere, but it's definitely not a desert. So I'm not 100% sure.
Do you know in the comics? Do you know if he ever returns to the cave?
Oh yeah, he definitely does.
Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't do an origin story with it, because we know how, because we've already had so many origin stories. Like, I understand, like, if we want an origin story for him, and because he's not a very well known hero, I think it would be kind of interesting to not do it like the Book of Boba Fett. So much flashbacks.
I hope there's not many flashbacks.
But I would, I have,
especially because you're already going to be having so many flashes of like him's different personalities.
Yeah.
Ooh, I really hope there's no flashbacks.
Yeah,
I'm sick of them. Yeah, Shang-Chi and Book of Boba Fett just killed flashbacks for me forever.
Yeah. So it wouldn't even surprise me if he goes to the cave and like talks to this god.
Like Khonshu, you've tricked me. You know?
Yeah. And then Khonshu's like, I saved you from those people, or whatever.
Exactly. Kind of give a refresher on his backstory.
Yeah. And then like, it wouldn't surprise me in like the first couple episodes, we start out just seeing Moon Knight do his thing, and stuff. Then he has these doubts, and then he's like, okay, I'm going to go back to the cave and talk to Khonshu. And then Khonshu's like, shut up.
I could see that.
It would definitely be difficult to do. It would definitely be kind of like a.
It would be interesting. I not gonna say they can't, like they would do a poor job if they did that. I definitely would not. I don't think they're gonna go that way. I think they're gonna go more of just a short origin story. And I would kind of
all the snap.
The snap is not gonna be okay. And I think that. And personally, I'd prefer that as well, rather than, him going back to the cave or whatnot.
Yeah. Or like you said, he seems to be able to communicate with Khonshu through thoughts. Maybe just talks to Khonshu.
But yeah, as long as it's not flashbacks, I'll probably be happy with it.
Be like, Khonshu, you did this to me.
Yeah, I do think we'll get some scene like that for sure.
Oh yeah, I do imagine, because it does seem Marvel does seem to have a thing for, like, when someone is given a power by somebody else, they tend to like doubt who gave them their power.
Yes,
doubt the person that gave them their power. Which is kind of it could be interesting in the Moon Knight's way.
Yeah.
Like anything.
All right, so I think that kind of for the origin story and how we think it's going to start. Let's go into, like, do you think that we're going to be spending a lot of... So it's only 6 episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Do you think we're going to be... Like, how many of those episodes do you think Moon Knight's going to appear in? Is it just going to be like we're watching Mark Spector, Steven, Guy,
I don't know.
Jake Lockley?
I would say we won't get much Moon Knight at the start. Like, I think we'll definitely get a Moon Knight shot at the start, but like not much of it. Okay. I think it'll be more of like Mark Spector, Mr. Knight, possibly, or whoever else.
Jake Lockley, Steven, something.
We'll get the other personalities popping up at the beginning, doing their thing. I would definitely love to see, like, from how you explained it, Mr. Knight seems like my type of personality.
Yeah, he would be. I mean, I think he would kind of fit the bill for what they're kind of going towards. More of the detective type, and that would be really fun to see. But because they're also going with the grittier, horror-esque, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Moon Knight was more of the vigilante than Mr. Knight in the show. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of on the same page. I think we're definitely going to see a lot more of his alter egos rather than Moon Knight for the most part. I think we'll probably see Moon Knight for the first time probably about halfway through episode 3. I mean, like, we might see a shot of him, but I don't, like, in his dreams, because he says, like, I can't tell Oh wait, you don't know this, but he does say, "I can't tell the difference between my waking and sleeping life." Right. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like shots of him, his quote unquote sleeping life, of him like beating somebody up as Moon Knight,
Oh.
but then it just like quickly
Do you
goes away from that. And so, yeah. So like,
Do you think he would fight one of his personalities?
I think there's going to be scenes where he's arguing with his other personalities for sure.
I just think with somebody with multiple personalities, I think it would be very interesting to see like someone with multiple personalities have a villain who is one of his personalities.
That would be pretty cool. That
Like just
yeah.
I think it would be very interesting because you're like fighting this guy and you're like, okay, I don't know who I'm fighting here. I don't know where this guy comes from. I don't know. I cannot find him anywhere. And then you realize, wait a minute, he's me.
He's me.
I look in the mirror and I see myself. But yeah, other than that, like I don't think they're gonna do that from how you explained it. They're gonna have one of his main bad guys pop up. But yeah, like I totally agree with you that they may even do like a Moon Knight shot like at episode 3, like that he like shows up finally and like starts beating up the bad guys.
Yes.
Anything else for that? Do we want to?
I mean, unless you want me to go into other things that I've seen in the trailer about, like.
Well, how about can I give some what I expect for like maybe who's gonna show up in the
Sure.
show?
Yeah. So like I've stated that I don't think like any other MCU people are going to show up. I think it's ready to touch. What are your thoughts on?
So
who do you think might show up?
I know we talked a little bit about this previous episode, but I really want to see like I said, I want to see Werewolf by Night show up.
Okay.
And I would love to see him like maybe pop up in Moon Knight.
Yeah,
maybe.
That would be really cool if he popped up. I haven't decided if I think he's gonna.
Do you think? Have you seen like other heroes pop up in Moon Knight, or have you seen maybe people who could be heroes?
There is one person that I would have to do some research on to know who they are. They could be their version of Marlene, but there's this one woman who shows up, and I'm not sure who she's supposed to be. I've only seen her in like one of the newer trailers, so I haven't got a chance to like look at who she might be. And then that's about it for anything that I've seen that could be somebody from the comics.
Yeah.
Aside from that, there's definitely not like MCU heroes showing up because I'd recognize that. So yeah.
Yeah. Because with Moon Knight being disconnected from the whole main MCU stuff, this gives them a lot of opportunities to like bring in newer heroes, newer villains, newer people. But yeah. So I would really like to see Werewolf by Night. I don't know of anybody else. Maybe I really want to say like maybe what's his name? Knight, the Death Knight? Is that his name?
Black Knight.
Black Knight. I can't get his name every single time. Maybe Black Knight.
A couple of things. Since Moon Knight, it seems, is going to be based in England. I would not be surprised if Black Knight showed up or was in the same vicinity. And so, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up later on in this series. Probably like one of the last episodes. But I don't think he'll be a big part. And then, of course, I wouldn't be surprised if Werewolf by Night did, and I'd be pretty stoked if he did.
What about Blade?
Blade, based on what I know about Mahershala Ali's filming schedule and stuff, I don't think he's showing up in it.
You just have to ruin it with filming schedule, don't you?
But I wouldn't be too surprised if he did, I guess. But like based on what I know, he's not filming anything in this general area that things are getting filmed for midnight. So.
Okay. 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 Now, I would also like to see, like I said, I want to see more supernatural stuff in the MCU. Maybe even like go into a whole vampire style thing pop up. I doubt that.
I think we'll get a lot of like, undead demon type stuff. I don't think we're going to get vampires. I wouldn't be surprised if vampires were mentioned that they exist and they're in the world and there's heroes out there fighting them. Maybe a name drop a Blade. But I don't think we're going to get like Moon Knight fighting vampires.
Yeah, like I was going to say, I highly doubt that that's going to happen. But yeah, I don't know any other really like supernatural heroes / villains / stuff that happens in the MCU. I don't know if there's a Frankenstein type MCU character.
Not that I can think of. I mean, I'm sure like there's a lot of MCU characters. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, something like that I'm forgetting about. But okay, so we're kind of running out of time here.
Yeah, definitely.
To wrap up our thoughts on Moon Knight. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely, looking forward to week 1 already.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Are there any closing thoughts you have on it?
Only thing I will say is it's going to be, I'm just very excited to see this style of MCU. Like, it's going to be very interesting.
Yes. I'm really excited where it can lead for sure.
Oh yeah. There's nothing else from me. Shall we move on?
All right, let's get into our upcoming for Marvel, Star Wars, and back and forth. What do you got for Star Wars?
Well, for Star Wars, nothing new that I've noticed. I've definitely been I've been on top of Obi-Wan Kenobi because it's in a period of like very little knowledge about the Star Wars universe. But I've been on top of this so hard. And the one thing that really bugs me is just a character that we've seen in animated, in live action, that's going to not look like his animated.
Okay. Well,
I know I've seen so many videos where people are upset about it, and I totally agree with them. Like, this character is so drastically different in the animated that there's no sense to put him in to make him this style. But then I've seen like just 1 or 2 videos about people saying it's fine. We've seen Cad Bane. He's fine. We're fine. And it's like, shh, no. Okay. But other than that, nothing too much. I thought there was an Andor trailer that released.
Yep.
And it was just Rogue One stuff.
Okay.
So completely wrong about that. But
a little clickbait.
Yeah, definitely a clickbait. But yeah, coming out the same times.
Any other Star Wars stuffs?
There is some talk about Bad Batch season 3. That something different's going to happen, possibly. I don't know what.
It's going to be good.
Probably. I'm fully expecting it to be better.
I'm sure you are. Always the optimist.
Yeah. But
aren't you forgetting something though?
What am I forgetting?
Lego Star Wars.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. We are going to be doing a recording of Lego Star Wars, doing our reaction, or I'm going to be reacting to.
I'm going to be acting while you react.
And I'm going to be stressing out as I usually do when I watch you.
But yeah, we'll get into what Back and Forth is doing later. But yes, that's coming up for Star Wars. Anything else?
Yeah, just nothing much other than that. I don't know what they're planning to do with Bad Batch, so I need to do some more research on that. What about Marvel?
So the only new thing I can think of is this show coming out in like 7 days.
Wait, what show is it?
Moon Knight.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
No, yeah. Moon Knight's coming out next week. Morbius is coming out next week.
Yeah, and if you haven't taken a look at the trailer breakdown that I did, I promise you it's shorter. It's like less than 25 minutes. Don't worry.
Yes, and I was trying to get a trailer breakdown out, but I got sick this week, so
that's no excuse. You do it when you're sick.
Hopefully that will be coming out well, Moon Knight's not coming out, but
Yeah, it's just keep your eyes open for Multiverse.
yes, Multiverse of Madness will definitely be coming out shortly.
I don't like being alone doing the trailer breakdowns.
Sorry, well, I can't be there with you when you do the trailer breakdowns of your trailers because I haven't seen them. And then yeah, Multiverse of Madness, and we've talked about all that other stuff. Nothing real new came out, though.
Oh dear.
Since I talked earlier about people's acting schedule and where they've been and everything. There was a rumor on who's going to be playing Namor, because this guy is rumored to be he just was at the same look. I don't remember where it is, but where they're somebody who's been rumored to be playing Namor was just said to be in the same vicinity as where they're shooting Wakanda Forever.
Really?
And I'm blanking on his name for some reason. Kanak Herta.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
So yeah, I think I've only seen him in like one thing. He's I believe from Mexico, and he's pretty well known for acting in a couple of TV shows. I think Narcos and maybe Sons of Anarchy or something like that. I don't know, a couple of pretty well acclaimed TV shows. But
yeah, I don't know any of those.
so anyways, that's kind of interesting that he might be in that, and that I think that kind of confirms that Namor is going to be in Wakanda Forever. But yeah, that's about it for Marvel for back and forth. Well, we'll have our instant judgment on Morbius next week after we watch it, hopefully on opening night.
And then we'll have our instant judgment of Moon Knight.
And we will be talking about Moon Knight next week, of course.
Yep.
The first episode we'll also be doing for our main show. What are we doing?
For the first episode of Moon Knight.
For the main back and forth show.
Oh, yes. We're going to be doing a Star Wars... No, not Star Wars. Sorry. Goodness, I've got Star Wars stuck in the brain up here.
It usually is.
A Marvel... a Marvel, goodness, I wrote it down.
We will be doing
no. It is a Marvel, I wrote it down.
Repeat after me.
A Marvel, I didn't write it down.
We will be doing
Image.
top 5 Marvel moments.
Yeah, that's right. I knew that.
So hopefully Gecko Man will have his top 5 moments. I will have mine.
Hopefully I just won't open a book here and just be like, I don't have it. Yeah. Also, yeah. So something that I'm actually really excited to do, because there's a lot of good moments in the MCU.
Yes,
and
there are.
Definitely keep an eye out, because I do also believe in the future we'll do a Star Wars moments.
He might convince me to do that.
Wow. But yeah, definitely something that I'm excited to do.
And then other things that will be coming out to keep your eyes on. We'll be doing some gameplay of Lego Star Wars.
Yep.
I'm so excited for that game, and
you'll know how excited when he goes to it. There is a confirmation of mumble mode in that game. You'll know how excited he is when he just pauses the game at the first time he enters and just activates the mumble mode.
Maybe just to annoy you, I won't.
Okay, well then.
And we also are hoping to get out some other gameplay on some stuff.
Yeah. Definitely something that it's been not percolating, whatever the word is.
Well, percolating works.
Percolating in my mind here.
And some Gecko Man reacting to Rogue Gambit play.
Please,
because
no.
Gecko Man hates the way I play video games. I'm not a gamer, guys. I'll put that out there.
Every time I watch him, I just want to like scratch my eyes out.
So, yeah, hopefully you guys will have fun laughing at me. And we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah. Don't put yourselves inside a box.